Hi guys, this is Jazz's review of Vamp. Now, she's going to talk about a lot of things that go on in a manga, so if this is a major spoiler warning guys, and I'm the author, so I'm helping her out in this video. So yeah, if you want to pause the video, go back and, have a little read and come back. You can get my books on Amazon or via my website, so links are down below. If you want to search on Amazon as an ebook, search on Vamp. So yeah, go back, read all the volumes, come back and watch the review, and I hope you all enjoy it and enjoy my books and enjoy Jazz's review. See you later.
What's up, friends? This is Jazz bringing you Vamp, the Lost Soul Volume 3 review. As you saw James say at the very beginning of this video, if you have not read Vamp, the Lost Soul Volume 3 or the prior two volumes 1 and 2, please turn off this video now. Go and get them and read them for yourself, because this will contain pretty heavy spoilers of the volume and potentially the other two volumes. Can't say for sure whether the other two volumes will be spoiled in this, but just a little extra warning for you guys. So if you haven't read it and you decide to read on and then you complain about it being spoiled, I gave you a heavy warning about it, so you can't get after me about it. But anyway, the other volume ended off after Inkra was kidnapped by the bounty hunters, led by MK2. Now, I'm going into as much detail as I can about this volume and all. It is pretty much heavy flashback heavy for Jess, Kaz, and Ranfang. Lot of combat. Now, pretty much, it's hard to explain it all. I know I'm allowed to be really spoiler heavy, but at the same time, I don't want to be 100% spoiler heavy. All in all, with this volume, I really did like getting the story of all of those characters. Literally, with Ranfang, who knew what a monster his father was? I mean, pretty much, as I said, I heard we'll probably hear more later, but his father tried to kill Ranfang at the age of 6, all because he blamed Ranfang for the death of his wife, which was Ranfang's biological mother. What is so wrong about, well, Kate, he was a child, but Ranfang was, but what is so wrong about Ranfang? She died during childbirth, Ranfang's mother. So, shortly after Ranfang was born, very shortly after. So, he's pretty much saying that a newborn baby killed his wife. Yeah, that just does not set right, pretty much. So, and as I said, I am going through the whole volume, but I'm definitely saying out things that stood out. And it also talks about how Ranfang got his adopted family, because his two adopted mothers protected him from his father. What I found was hilarious was when he was saying you're protecting a murderer, and they're like, there's still no excuse for child abuse. Again, for one, Ranfang did nothing wrong. And, I mean, as of now, that we know of. So, it still irks me he calls him a murderer. I mean, the way I see it is it's kind of like a Bella and Renesmee situation, where Renesmee was a supernatural half vampire, so and Bella was a human at the time, so it was dangerous being pregnant with her. Ranfang's biological mother, I believe, must have been human as well, because he's half werewolf. So the way I see it is that she probably died because his wolf self or something may have been too much for her. But back to my point, I mean, okay, yeah, there is no excuse for child abuse, but there are some very rare situations where a child does something so horrendous that they're considered so dangerous that they probably should get the death penalty. Eddie, this, like, okay, I know children, like, it's hard to explain my point, and I said this is rare, very rare, but they're, like, just like any adult, right? If they know, even though they're young, if they know what they're doing, if they're capable of understanding what they're doing, they should be put to the consequences. So sometimes, but child abuse, no, there's no excuse, but execution, perhaps. But with Ranfang, no, there is no reason. The father was completely out of control. That's all I'm saying about Ranfang's flashback at this point. His battle, though, he was battling one of his childhood friends in a way, because they were all under the mentorship of Rin, the Dragon Master, like Inkra, this guy, which I don't think I ever remember the name, maybe we'll get more of that some other point, and Ranfang. And I won't go into too much detail with this, but we'll say of everything that I had to say about Ranfang, if he did anything wrong at all, was near the end of that battle. That was the only time I could ever say he did something that may have went way too far. But when he was a child, it was ridiculous, right? But it was interesting because the childhood friend, or the opponent of Ranfang's at this point, I don't know whether he was jealous that he couldn't be as good or as favorable. I have no idea. Again, I don't think I remember getting the name of that guy. I wish I did. And I will just say the ending of that battle was something quite emotional. Now, I should back up because I'm going to Jess's part. We learn more about Jess's backstory a little bit here, where we learned there were some things about Jasper that we didn't know before. Before, we knew he was some type of vampire. But we learned also that Jess, as I said, her anger issues can lead to more than just real bad, violent temper. She can be literally dangerous if not controlled, like her psychic powers. And we learned that sometimes vampirism can be a sickness as well, and that Jess had a mother. Who knew? Because she was never shown. I mean, at least Nika's parents and the first adoptive parents and even biological parents were shown at a time in the first volume. Ranfang, we never did see any Ranfang's father until this volume either. So, Anna, I believe, was her name. I think I did see the name Anna. Jasper said it slightly. But there was a time where Jess lost control at her mother, because she was going to put out Jasper, I believe, or kill him because he was succumbing to the sickness, as she thought. And Jess just did not want to give up on her father, to the point where she struck out at her mother, which was the last time at this point we saw her, because she just pretty much saying, okay, fine, and left. And honestly, that kind of took me the wrong way as well. I mean, okay, I know it wasn't right what Jess did, like literally attacking her mom, that she could have killed her, possibly. But Anna should not have had such an attitude towards Jess. For one, Jess was about 6 or 7 or 8. Can't remember that. I'd say about 6. She lost control, right? And her mother should have known that she wasn't in the right frame of mind and was just protecting her father, who she loved too, right? It's okay. I know. I sometimes, guys, have trouble always relating to people's emotions or understanding them correctly, even reading them. So perhaps my mindset of it is all wrong. Maybe Anna's response was completely valid, but just to me, that was more stupid than Ranfang's father trying to kill him. Yeah. Yeah, that is my feelings, actually, because for one, Ranfang's father never loved him, and he felt that it was his fault that the death of his wife happened. So that had a little more logic, to it. With Anna, yes, it must have been very hurtful her own little girl attacked her. I can understand that. But Anna honestly didn't have enough hope for Jasper to at least listen to her daughter and maybe give him a little bit more time. I mean, it turns out that they were able to find a solution to temporarily at least hold the process of what was happening to him. So if she had maybe stuck around, things could have ended up all right. I don't know. Or maybe it's because Anna left that Jasper had more of a will to hold on to that point, because he had to protect Jess. I don't know. So maybe her leaving may have been a blessing. I don't know. But that is just how I felt about that flashback. Now, the battle with Hex. Another situation where we'll just say that Hex was an old buddy of Jasper's. And I just love to have some Scottish representation in there. I mean, I'm not Scottish, but one of my main staff at my workplace actually is from Scotland. So it's kind of nice to see something like that in there. And it's funny. I honestly find that out of all the battles so far, this battle was the most emotional to me. Because I just can say in the end, Hex turned around. Which was sad because obviously he was killed. Again, as heavy spoilers. But it's kind of sad that when you're killed, if you finally realize what you did wrong, and you finally but the thing is, it ended on a good note in one way, because Jasper and Hex had forgiven one another. So, but yeah, you're probably wondering, another Ranfang situation with Jess. We'll just say things kind of went out of control a little bit with Jess. It's kind of been a common theme so far this volume, is that the younger ones, the teenagers, they lose control of themselves because they're not quite mature enough in that aspect as some of their partners, like Jasper and Rin, I think. The name is kind of wrong there. They are more mature. They have more control over themselves. So I kind of like the dynamic there. How it's balance between someone really young and someone very experienced. And I actually am looking forward to seeing more of that. Now, I'm trying to think, Kaz. I'm going to go into Kaz. I know there's things with Nika and James, and I am going to get into that, but I want to go through the flashback elements in the battles first. That's just kind of how I can remember it better. Kaz is pretty much going... It's more of a flashback with her and Ranfang. And it talks about their friendship, which apparently they had. I guess I didn't read too much into it. And one thing I loved was it was confirmed that Kaz was a big gamer, a big technology fan. I love it. There is one thing I am wondering, though. I'll bring this up, and I'm sure James won't mind me saying this, because that's just my speculation, and maybe James can answer this for me, whether it's in a private message or whatever. But I've noticed that minus Jess and Kaz, I don't know, but two of the characters, Ranfang and Nika themselves, have disabilities, almost. Well, with Nika, I don't think it's been confirmed, but it says there's a high chance he's dyslexic. And Ranfang was confirmed to have ADHD. What I am curious about with Kaz is she somewhere on the autism spectrum? Whether borderline or not, because what I've read at the very least was. I know you can say, oh, if someone is autistic, then they always are. It's just it gets better. But it mentioned that Kaz had pretty bad social skills, and she was always into her technology. It was her passion. Now, I'm not saying that she might have been introverted, just introverted as a child. And that could very well be the case. And as I said, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, James. But sometimes with me, I do read into a certain amount of things. It has not been said in it. But just by some of the, not clues, but just some of the characteristics. I couldn't see it much now when she's older, but when she was younger, from what it showed, that she would rather not be with people, she will, but she'd rather be, in her game, which I am very much like. The thing is, there are things, there are certain situations where it's different, but I actually see a lot of myself in Kaz. Now, yes, you're saying, why is Ranfang my favorite? I don't know. Ranfang just has this personality that just, jumps out at ya. But I'll admit that I do like Kaz quite a bit, too, because in some ways she reminds me a lot of myself. I would prefer to be in my technology or my games than to socialize with other people. Now, there is a difference where Kaz does, her close friends she keeps close, and she does make it a point to see them and nurture and keep, on nurturing that friendship, where with me, I do genuinely struggle with maintaining friendships because I am great. When I go and meet people, I'm very charismatic. I'm great, right? I can talk to people to a degree if they are a decent chunk older than me, especially. But maintaining that connection, I genuinely struggle. So I was just saying that as a point. I've seen some traits, and when I say it, I'm not saying she is lower down there, but somewhere maybe Asperger's, or even PDD-NOS, mild. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I still like how I do see myself in her. But the whole flashback was talking about how they went to the same school, because I think that Ranfang's adopted parents were neighbor or friends of the parents or father of Kaz. So they were in the same area, a group together, a class together. And it also showed that Ranfang could be a bit of a mini bully at some point, too, until he realized that she was really hurt by what he did, or that she cried, right? it kind of also explains his feelings of his father further, right? In that flashback. And I just love she had a little mini game system, and when it was broke, oh, that was sad. But she was really good with technology even then. I think they were like 8 or 9, I think, at this point, that she was able to fix it. Like, it's the funny thing is that she said something, and I'm going to look back on this volume, because it really meant quite a bit, right? And it was well, it was pretty much about how she can make it brand new, right? I think I'm there. It says here that it says, "Don't worry, game girl. I'll fix it. Unlike people, I can fix this, even make it better." So it honestly, her games and technology meant the world to her, and it kind of showed later on that she was really good with technology. So I just really like how it kind of explored her personality a little bit more. I mean, I will confess, until this volume, I had no thoughts whether she was on the spectrum at all. Reading more into it, how she has trouble relating to people, which I do. I try, I try to nurture certain things, right? Like my family, but I do tend to get lost in my own world, or my own, what is it? Like my own hobbies. So we'll just say, even if she is not on the spectrum, her personality is so similar to mine that way. The only difference is that I am not so good. I mean, I love technology and with computers. I can do certain things, but I'm not good with, how do I put it? I'm not good with the fixing of gadgets. Like, I can't take things apart and put them together. Everything that I know is more the internal, not the, like, anything to do with computer or the internet. I can look up and do. But with taking, like, if my game broke, if my 3DS broke, I would be in doo-doo. I would have to send it somewhere and pay money. I wouldn't be able to fix it the way Kaz could. But I have a lot of her personality in the way that I would rather be with my things than with people, pretty much. Now, she was with, was it Professor Einstein, and they have not had a battle yet, so there's not much to talk about there. It was pretty much, their part was pretty much talking about the relationship with Ran Fang and everything. It kind of was more of a dialogue section and near the end of the volume. Now, Nika and James were against Gabriel, which was some vampire guy. I don't know much about him, but it did go into some of his past, not in a flashback necessarily, but talked about like his master and his master's son, and we learn more about Nika's abilities in a way that he can inhale, what is it, nightmare dust or something, and use it because he's part nightmare, he's part beast. So he was able to make Gabriel hallucinate, pretty much, and make him like traumatized because his master was yelling at him for killing his son, and that the son was undead and said, "I looked up to you," and it was funny. The one thing though I actually like is that Nika was the only one. Well, okay, yes, confirmed, because there is a part with Inkra too about her battling MK2 and protecting him, and plus this giant. He's so adorable. We'll just say he's like a big kid, like a toddler giant. It's adorable. And this evil bunny, this nightmare. I'm sorry, I love that part. But back to what I was saying about Nick, I'll go back to the other one later. He was the only one out of the three that spared his enemy. Well, they say he's the only one, and yet Nika was the one who lost control several other times. So it's kind of ironic that he, out of Jess and Ranfang, were the only ones that it turned out okay for the enemy so far. It's funny because every other time Nika would go into his evil dark half and go kill, 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 kill. Where this time around, once as Nika said, he's already defeated. He's already looks in defeat because he was traumatized. Let's not go. Let's leave. And my mouth dropped. I'm like, wow. Like, really, out of all of them, you think Nika would be the one to... But I kind of liked that. Maybe it shows that he's learning to control himself a little bit more than the last few volumes. Now with Inkra, her and MK2 were fighting. She was trying to protect the eggs and the dragon, and I guess there was, again, I forget his name, but I think it was, he wasn't until near the end anyway. But I just love the little bunny. Like, I just love Donnie. Okay, I had to look that up again. Donnie. I loved it. But I also really thought that the bunny was adorable. Hell Bunny. Oh, but he's... I'm sorry, I know he's supposed to be a bad guy or an enemy, but he was so adorable. I mean, even Inkra's and all, he's kind of cute, or second thought, no, he's not cute. He's dangerous, right? But that little hat, and... gosh, I'm sorry. But yeah, I honestly think that this volume and all is really good, and I cannot wait to continue on this story, because I love seeing all the characters grow and develop, and we get to know more about them. So, guys, I included before the link to his website, but again, please check out his website. I'm thinking of maybe for Christmas getting one of the shirts at the Teespring, there, if they still have them. The books are, in my country, in Canada, are $7 tax each. You could check them where your country and how much it is. So if you can, please get them and support James. Now, I also don't know if this has happened yet, but while I'm narrating this, Manga ETC is doing a giveaway for the complete set, so maybe you could enter there as well. Maybe I'll enter his link there for you to check it out. So guys, if you enjoyed this review, give it a big thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel and like what you see, please subscribe. It helps this channel a lot. And don't forget to hit the bell notification so you'll know when new videos are coming out. And I will see you guys in my next video.